Sigmund Freud, an Austrian neurologist, wrote a book known as The Interpretation of Dreams. This book would become one of the first ever books to explore the world known as the dream, a mental place where your memories and fears all come together to form a vivid world. A ton of different games nowadays exist to try and recreate the places you visit in this world of dreams. A really popular game I can think of that portrays this is Yume Nikki. You play this game as Madotsuki, a character who has a room with a balcony. $3,000 in New York City. Obama is Missing is another masterpiece, except this game doesn't exist. You could argue that Ina, an internet series which now has its own game, could be taking place in a dreamlike place, but Ina is real. Therefore, you are wrong. Today I bring you the topic of games that portray the world of dreams. Hopefully I can entice you into playing a few of these games, and please do embrace yourself as there are a few spoilers up ahead. Superliminal was developed during the year 2019, which was also the time this egg got the most likes on Instagram. The game had a very simple premise. Perspective is everything. Take, for example, this simple chess piece. At first, this doesn't seem interesting, but when you change your perspective on it, the only reason this is possible is because you are inside a dream, which the game makes really clear by giving you this beautiful cinematic intro. In a similar sense, Broken Dreams demo also has a very much shocking start where everything isn't really what it seems. Similar to Superliminal, it also shows that this all happens inside of a dream. The way how games like those use these unrealistic mechanics inside of a game is quite cool, as this is very much understandable and reasonable because we are exploring a dream. And dreams generally do not make sense. Scenes in games like these also give out an unrealistic feeling. Take Broken Dreams' first level, for example. This whole apartment complex doesn't make sense. Where is the bathroom? Where are the people? Where is the basement where I feed my loyal viewers who play ink games for 7 hours a day? The train also has grass growing inside, which isn't normal, but is still a beautiful scenery because a modern object like a train blending in with grass that comes from nature gives the feeling of harmony through contrast. Project Somnia, which is a game in Roblox inspired by Yume, also has different types of scenes that are pretty fun to look at. Take for an example the baguette world, where baguettes fly around and a baguette bridge exists. You can even find a world where Smurfs live in, with an omnipotent being pointing its finger at you. All those mechanics I've just told you don't make any sense, but work well in these type of games as they're all supposedly happening inside of a dream. But not everything gives out a beautiful or hopeful feeling. Take for once. LSD Dream Emulator was developed during 1998, with the game's advertisement literally stating this. Something like this is not a game. LSD Dream Emulator is different from all those other games. It is a walking simulator that really captures the feeling of a weird dream you would have. The scenery here is similar to the ones from before. It doesn't make any sense, but compared to that refreshing feeling you get the more weird and creepy vibes from it. Other games also have similar segments like this. One of the segments from Project Somnia is a place where traffic is everywhere. There are doors that allow you to go through, but they just lead back to darker places with more traffic. Yume has sceneries like this too, with places with weird avatars in them or just plain weird places. But this is once again normal. Because it is a dream, you are bound to meet something that evokes the sense of confusion and off-putting from time to time. But let's not beat around the bush and actually get into the real meat, the horror. I told you about Superliminal. This game is interesting and uses your perspective as a game mechanic to let the player have fun. But there is a certain segment inside the game that just doesn't feel like the other parts.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce, and despite touring the Waterfall Serenity Zone in the previous section you've just completed, you may still be experiencing feelings of worthlessness and self-doubt. Why do I feel like everything is going wrong, even when the sun is shining?
The quote you just listened to happens right before entering the horror zone. As what the doctor explained, your feelings of worthlessness and self-doubt could still be lingering inside of you. And because a dream is a sandbox of your feelings, your dreams can change from something so bright to something just straight out of horror. Yumaniki has a very famous scene that you might have seen before. This scene is famously known as the Uboa. The Uboa looks like a blob of paint you might have dropped in your class. But the character has a deeper meaning to it compared to most other game characters. Because of how the door doesn't open and how the room starts to shake uncontrollably, the general acceptance is that the Uboa is a representation of the feeling of helplessness and fear inserted into the dream mind. Adding on to this, interacting with the Uboa brings us to a scenery with the bloody monster, which also has several theories connected to it, such as it being a pure nightmare, because of how helpless we become in this place. There are more places and locations to explore in Yumaniki that are quite horrifying. But Uboa was the one specific scene I decided to choose because of how it represents so many things about dreams turning into nightmares. Here is Broken Dreams. As I have said before, we are absolutely in a beautiful place, calm and peaceful, until we get doubts. What ifs that start to clog our dream world. It starts off with just a simple quote. No! 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 Broken Dreams has some of the best entities I have seen. One of them is the adult from the hallway. The way how the screen blurs as you look at the entity is such a nice touch, since you cannot make out a person's face that well in a dream. The other entity that appears has one of the best horror enemy introductions and interesting mechanics. You cannot see its face because it's a dream and the entity doesn't run towards you unless you run. Obviously, the entities have underlying meanings to them that relates to the character. But we've talked about them a bit too many times before that I just wanted to highlight something else that was different about them. Just like the three from before, fear in dreams are represented in several different ways. Of course, the other games also have them. Take, for example, the Gray Man from LSD Dream Emulator, a horrifying entity that when you collide with, immediately wakes you up. Another one is the anglerfish from Project Somnia. It drowns you in your dream. Now that I've finished my talking, let me just restate what I've said before. I enjoy games that exist in dreams. They are weird, have interesting mechanics, but overall they give a type of impact to me that lasts inside my mind. I am reminded of their existence from time to time and hope to play much more of them if they are made. So until then, I shall be waiting for something new. Goodbye.